Hello again and welcome to episode 4 of the Behavioral Technology Show. I've invited two friends to the studio today, simplicity and complexity. The irony, of course, is that it was relatively simple to build complexity and very complex to build simplicity. But more about that later. Today, I want to chat about choice versus simplicity. We all love to have choice, right? But if we have too many options available to us, it actually slows us down in our decision-making capability. It can become confusing, and at the end, we may find the experience rather unpleasant. At the same time, though, we need to be careful of oversimplifying all things. While simplicity may seem like an obvious goal, humans have a level of resistance to oversimplification, meaning it's not always a best practice to make all end-user experiences too simple. If we expect something to have some level of complexity, say for example when you transfer money using your banking app, then reducing it down to one step as an example can create suspicion, uncertainty, and mistrust. We also know from a configuration design perspective that simple can easily end up being translated as minimal, and they're not the same thing. Effective simplicity is quite complex to achieve. You need to really think about the experience you want to create in the context of the steps and the choices your user has. Simplicity generally needs complexity, so what we perceive to be simple might not always be simple. It's just doing a good job at hiding its complexity. Minimal, on the other hand, is just a cop-out and a lazy way to configure and build software. Ultimately, it's a trade-off. Every application process has an inherent amount of complexity that cannot be removed or hidden. Instead, it must be dealt with either in the product development and configuration or in the user interaction. So, what are some guidelines I can offer you in pursuit of a simple user experience? First on my list is not to measure simplicity based on the number of technical features and functions used. That is a misleading measure and can lead to minimalism, which often leads to poor experience and additional manual workarounds. Number 2, look closely at things that offer you hidden control, like timing. For example, hiding a feature until it is needed will prevent distraction and promote greater accuracy of the task at hand. Number 3, use dynamic capability when it's available. In other words, the user only wants to see content relevant to them or their role or the task at hand. Nobody wants to look through a drop-down list of 50 items when only 3 are applicable. Number 4, frequency. Look at which items, such as menus, are most often used. Move them to a primary screen location and shift the less frequented menus to an other option. This helps declutter and keeps users focused. Number 5, break up menus into logical categories and submenus rather than having one long itemized menu. Number 6, play to the technology's strengths. For example, technology is far better at tasks such as calculating numbers or finding patterns or shifting through data. Don't leave those things to people to do. Number 7, use things like smart defaults to speed up the task execution. For example, if somebody is requesting a day's leave in your HR or WFM system, default the hours per day in and show any public holidays automatically so that the user doesn't have to figure it out and potentially get it wrong. And finally, the biggest issue with simplicity is system communication. Make sure you are providing useful explanations using visual pointers and text on what's happening during the process and what you need the user to do. It's very difficult for the person to follow a simple process without guidance. In summary, it's all about achieving the right balance. And rather than thinking simplicity is minimalism, effective simplicity is really being devoid of unnecessary complexity. Till next time, take care.